Hello, it's Maggie, the Cheshire Crafter here. You can see I'm sitting very comfortably and I'm quilting. Let me turn the camera around for you. There, that's better. I'm in my comfy chair. Now, I promised a video for people with disabilities and some ideas for tools and equipment that might make your hobby. And in this video, I'm talking about quilting and sewing a little bit easier. I'm just talking about some of the tools and tips and tricks that I use that help me. You will have other ideas of things and you might want to add into the comments. So this list is not exhaustive by any means. It's just some ideas. I've got ME and that means that I have problems with my muscles. That's my core muscles will be painful, will start to spasm. I get twitching. I have problems with my brain. I have problems with the brain and brain fog, concentrating. I have problems with my joints with pain. And you have to take all those things into consideration because these things are sharp, you're using equipment, and whilst a piece of fabric won't hurt you, what you cut it with will. Come into the kitchen with me and I'll give you some ideas on what I use to help me continue with my hobby. You may know that I work in my kitchen. I work from a computer chair and on it I've got 2 memory foam cushions and I'm supported at the back so I can sit at a 45 degree, sit at my sewing machine and manage with the foot pedal that's on the floor down here. I cut at the station here the working height of my kitchen cupboards are ideal for me and I use that as my cutting station, and I sometimes iron there. That's my iron, and you'll sometimes see that I get my ironing board out here. The most ergonomic way to work is sew, iron, cut. Main steam iron is too heavy for me to manage, so I bought a lightweight steam iron from Tesco within about the last 6 months, and the steam facility I've blown out, mostly because I leave it on too long and the thermostat just blows. If you can't manage the weight of an iron, try a lightweight mister. A little bit of water in a mister will give you a fine mist over your fabric. The other thing is try a small iron. This is a small travel iron. You can see that there's a steam facility on this. I'm just not very good with the steam, but the top will go. Of course, I need 2 hands to do it, but that top will go down. It is a travel iron. There are the small irons, but they're about 30 odd pounds, and they're the ergonomic handles at the top. For quilters, there are these mini irons with the small plate to get in small places. That's if you can hold on to the handle. But they're just a few ideas if you're struggling with ironing. My portable iron in here. Now you can also buy wool mats and clappers that will help with your pressing and keeping those seams flat, and they will do the work for you rather than you having to press hard. To finger press, I'm going to use this roller, which has got an ergonomic handle. Now this is easier than me pushing down and hurting my knuckles and my fingers with pressure. I just roll it back and then roll it across the seam. You do need to apply a little bit of pressure, but it is easier than doing it just with the fingers, and as I say, it stops me from having to get up and down to the iron. Cost £5.50 with free postage from eBay. I'll put the links below. Special video on the unboxing and testing of this that I uploaded a few days ago. You might want to go and watch it. For tools specially designed with ergonomic handles, this cutting ruler and rotary blade has been made with an ergonomic handle and a spring-loaded action, which is easier for me to cut than with a rotary cutter. All I do is press down and pull, and I've got a good cut. Well, this will cut 8 layers of fabric at a time. That cuts down on the length of time I'm standing, so it's less pressure on my leg muscles and on my back muscles. It's not just my hand that's a problem, it's my core muscles too. Now, some things are a considered purchase. This has made the difference in me being able to continue with my hobby this weekend. When cutting threads, remember that there's usually a section on your machine that'll do that. That saves your fingers from having to use scissors. Normally you see me using my Corribond scissors that have got a very hard plastic coating on the handle. Instead, I'm currently using the Cutterbee scissors that have got a soft grip handle. They're very sharp and they go sharp right up until the end. So they're great with the fabric. They actually crunch as I'm cutting through the fabric. They're actually easier for me to hold at the moment. I bought them half price off Hobby Maker, so I got 2 for the price of 1. This one is marked for my fabrics and I've bought 1 for my paper crafting. It's also got a good cover case on it because this is extremely sharp blade. This is easier for me to cut for the short bits I need to cutting those dog ears off. Might be easier for you to hold the grip on the lighter weight seam ripper and just cut through that thread. Might find a pair of thread snips which are lightweight easier. Now this takes a different action. This just takes a pincer movement between your finger and your thumb. You do need to have some muscle strength there though to use those. For Christmas, for one of my sewing friends, I bought a Clover pendant which has a sharp blade within it. You can wear it round your neck and just cut the threads against it. Now, I don't have one of those because I use a call system pendant around my neck and I don't want anything to interfere with that. Also, you might not be able to wear one of those if you have a pacemaker. Consider that another discipline might just have the tool that can help you. For example, if they used a piece of equipment in carpentry or railway modelling, for example. Now, this is a tool that we used in nursing and midwifery and every surgeon's piece of equipment. It's artery forceps. It's got a curved end. It is stainless steel, so it'll clean easily. It's got a grip whereby, as you can see, it's got a curved end like the scissors will go up. But if you open it up and then close it again, you can hear the ratchet movement. That ratchet will hold that so tightly that when you pull it, you're not pulling much on your muscles. It's the grip that the tool will give you. That's particularly helpful if you're trying to turn some fabric inside out, or if you're trying to pull a strap inside out or pull ribbon through. I bought these off eBay, not very expensive. I always recommend additional lighting. The light on the sewing machine isn't sufficient. I use lightweight LED lights and run them on the inside of the sewing machine. I have one of these little magnetic torches to hand, and that gives a great little shining light in an area where it's a little bit dark. I work beside an angle poised lamp. I write my own patterns so I can read my own writing. If I needed to look at a quilting pattern, I'd certainly need a magnifier, or I might photograph it with my phone and then amplify it on my phone. Magnify it on my phone, I should say. And you can get the magnifiers that will go round your neck and will sit the equivalent of here on your chest. I think sitting comfortably and having the appropriate lighting where you're sitting is a must. For hand sewing, I recommend using the largest needle that you can with a sharp tip, but with a self-threading eye. I have some on order and I can't show you them yet because they haven't arrived through the post. You can also use a needle threader to assist. I found a little job I can do sitting in my armchair, and this gives me a little bit of relief, gives me the chance to have a drink and take some painkillers before I go back. The last thing you want is to continue beyond what your body is capable of, and you certainly don't want to induce a repetitive strain injury. So I'm going to mark all my fabric now with my little pen using my lap tray. Lap trays are brilliant. My tip when using lap trays is make sure that you've got one with a lip on it, and try using a non-slip rubber mat or a silicone mat, and also use magnets or a magnetic shim to help hold things in place. This little bag with its convenient strap and handle is known as a buddy bag, and on the inside you can see that it has a plastic board. I'm going to pull that out and show you. The board is a strong piece of plastic with, as you can see, these very deep indents in it, and it has a rubber mat on the inside that's held in place by strong bands, and the bands can be moved to hold that in place. Now the plastic mat is big enough for a sheet of paper, a sheet of A4 paper. Now it's designed by a crafter for her sister who'd had a stroke, so it might be that you're setting something up like this for somebody who's doing a craft one-handed. Now this will slip on plastic, so I've placed it inside my silicone tray, or it would need to go on a rubber non-slip mat, I think. The whole point of this is that it will hold in place while somebody does some artwork, even if they're just doing it with one hand. For somebody, that might be the difference between being able to do some artwork, how abstract is that, and not. Brilliant concept. That's the buddy board. Now it's the rubber mat in place. I've been able to place a silicone craft mat on the top of it. Now you can also move these bands. Let me show you. Back, you can see that the band is one continuous piece of elastic. So if I move it, I can put it in different positions. Any position, it still holds the rubber mat and the silicone mat. But imagine if that was holding a book or instructions in place. It's a very good invention. I'll put the details below. I discovered this little invention when I broke my shoulder. When I'm having difficulty holding my phone, I place the phone in the rest here, and I can hold the phone in landscape mode. It's made of silicone, it's fully washable, and it didn't cost very much. Put the earphones in WHSmith. They plug into the side of the phone. A lot of people use earphones for lots of things, but it helps block out noise, especially if you've got noise like I've got coming from noisy neighbours. Now, this is really helpful when I'm trying to look at something or even watch videos on YouTube. It also will let me do things hands-free, so I can be doing something while copying an instruction on YouTube. To recycle plastic where I can, so this is my sharps bin. Now I do need to be able to get the top off that, and I also need to let my carers know that this is sharps, but I put all my rotary blades in, my needles in here. If I wasn't able to get the top off, I would cut a hole in the top and just push things in. You can do the same with any little lightweight containers. This, I got my sauce in from the local Chinese. This is what I put my pins in. This is what I put my little pieces of, the iron-on tape flies away. I keep it in those. Very handy little things. So I hope that's given you some ideas. The fact that you're even trying is worth a pat on the back. So come back and join me for more crafting, more quilting soon, won't you? This is Maggie, the Cheshire Crafter. Bye. See you soon.